Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
I'm back, everybody, and welcome to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. That man is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, we're going right into the show today. We got Meghan Payton, Bryan Leonard, Marco D'Angelo. We got baseball picks, football picks, the NFL picks going on tonight in the Denver-San Diego LA Chargers game. And, of course, we have you and your big B6, which will happen after Meghan Payton because she's on a hard out. Meghan, let's go, baby. Welcome to Wager Talk Today.
Hi, Prez. Hi, Teddy. Thank you, guys. As always, love joining you on Monday. And I wish we had a little bit of a more exciting primetime game to preview. I mean, maybe it'll be better than we expect, but this is the fourth time we're seeing the Broncos in primetime this season. I think I can speak for everyone in saying we're all a little bit done with Denver.
Teddy?
Well, we might be done with Denver. We'll see how they look tonight. But, Meghan, This is the truth of it, all right? It doesn't matter what they put up there, what game they put out there. There's something to bet on for these contests week in and week out. And, whether it's a marquee matchup, whether it's – and coming into the season, you have to think Denver and the Chargers are going to be a good game. Unfortunately, neither one of these teams has lived up to expectations so far. But you're going to focus on the props. You've been fantastic with the props here on Wager Talk Today so far. We'll give you all the credit in the world. I was giving you grief. I'm like, overs. All the overs are cashing. Last week you cashed an under as well. Where are we going to start tonight when it comes to props?
Well, Teddy, let's start with another over because I like Courtland Sutton over 68.5 receiving yards. As much as I just dogged on the Broncos and they're not doing anything on offense, here's what I got to say. Last Thursday, in that terrible game against the Colts, Courtland Sutton had 74 receiving yards. He's hit over 74 out of 5 games this season. 68.5 isn't crazy. Also, the Chargers struggling on pass defense. They're 20th in the league. So I'm going to take the over on Courtland Sutton, 68.5 receiving yards. I'm also going to take the over on Chargers running back Austin Eckler, 59.5 rushing yards. Now, Teddy, Austin Eckler's been fantastic. 173 rushing yards last week in their win against the Browns. Are we going to see that big of a performance from Eckler tonight? Probably not. But he's trending upwards right now. 60 rushing yards the week prior. Now we see 173. I like to bet overs or unders on players that are either trending up or trending down. Eckler's trending up. And also you look at the Broncos defense. Yes, they've been solid. Where's one area that they're lacking, Teddy? They're lacking in the run defense. They're just average, 15th in the league. I find a way that I see a way where Eckler gets above 59.5 rushing yards. And you want me to take an under? I'll give you one more under for today's games. I'm going to take the under on running back Melvin Gordon's rushing yards at 55.5. Now, I took the over on Gordon's rushing yards last Thursday, actually. It was 54. The only reason the over hit was because of overtime. I'll be, honest and say that. That's the only reason why we saw that. Now, if I could find a Latavius Murray prop bet, Teddy, I would be taking that. I looked everywhere. I wanted to take the over on Latavius Murray. Running back from New Orleans. He didn't play last week. I expect him to have a decently big game. Murray had 57 yards with the Saints against the Vikings. That was in London. I believe that he's going to contribute a lot to this run game. Also, you've got Mike Boone. Melvin Gordon's been kind of all over the place. I don't expect him to have a big game tonight.
So the Chargers rank dead last in the NFL in yards per carry allowed. That has been a bad defense, and I'm reluctant to play anyone who's facing the Chargers under their total. Talk to me about the Chargers run defense and if that's a concern for you with the under that you like with Melvin Gordon tonight.
It's absolutely a concern. And I actually do think that Denver's going to have a decently good run game. I just don't think it's going to be in Melvin Gordon. Mike Boone played better than Gordon last week. I'll be honest. I'll say that. And then you bring in Latavius Murray, who honestly might be better than Boone. He's had all week to adapt, to, learn Denver's plan. I like Denver getting a run game going. I don't think it's with Melvin Gordon, and he honestly is still struggling to hang on to the ball. He recovered himself last week, fumbling, and then got it back. But this is a player that gives a little bit of concern. And you look at the coaching staff, what have they been saying all week? They don't want to rely on one player. When you think about how do you have a successful run game, typically it's not just with one guy, unless you're talking about an amazing player in Jonathan Taylor or Dalvin Cook. You've got to be able to spread the ball. Running back is a very aggressive physical position. The more they can have in the game, the better. I like them to have a strong run game. I just don't think it's all going to be in Melvin Gordon tonight.
Meghan, everything you're saying makes a lot of sense. I love the Courtland Sutton prop over the total. I think you're right. And I think the Denver offense is going to start figuring it out. The Austin Eckler prop makes a ton of sense as well. And we've seen the Chargers slowly try to get more running involved in their game. And yeah, man, that the coach for Denver, Hackett, I'm with you. I think he's going to. I don't even think we're going to see a lot of Melvin Gordon. So all three prop bets sound great. They make a lot of sense. Thank you for taking the time to put those together for us. And again, everybody, you could see Meghan every week on the NFL Presidential Address. Meghan, where else can people see you?
Well, Prez, we're doing a lot right now with Wager Talk. We're going to film a video later today. It's the What Were You Thinking video. We're going to be criticizing essentially everyone who did something bad. You can expect to see a Robbie Anderson shout out in today's video. We're also doing plus money picks. Last week, we did a great one with Giants money line combined with Saquon Barkley over. So each and every day, we're finding new ways to get in the market, new ways to get you guys content. And of course, this is all on wagertalk.com and on the WagerTalk TV app.
Wonderful. We're lucky to have you. Thanks for joining us. Meghan Payton, everyone. You'll see her every Monday on this show, talking prop bets for Monday Night Football. Teddy, look, every week, one of my favorite segments is your Bad Beat segment. We're going to get straight into it. But before we get into that, I just want to mention the worst beat ever in history of my life. Teddy and I, and I'm not getting into this, and I'm not going to discuss this again. Teddy and I, for whatever reason, forgot to put our Westgate plays in this week. Can we take a moment?
You can do
of
it,
silence,
Lawrence.
Please. Let's have a moment of silence. Okay. That's the end of that topic. Teddy, I went 2-4 to the NFL yesterday. And I felt like I had some bloody-ass bad beats, man. I had the over in the Kansas City game, 3 drives right off the bat, all into scoring position, all ended up with a zilch. I had Patrick Mahomes over 22 yards rushing. He hit 21. And I had the Dallas Cowboys, which I was super pumped towards the end of the game. I thought I would get that one in. But alas, a 2-4 day, still on a 16-6 NFL run and up big this season. You had a monster day, dude. So congratulations.
Well, I needed it. It hasn't been a great October by any stretch of the imagination. I'm so frustrated in college football right now. But the NFL has been pretty consistent all year long. Now I think 17-8 since week 1. So catching a 68% clip. Not going to complain in a 4-1 week this week, Prez. But certainly, it's something that never happened to me in 25 years in Las Vegas. I've never forgot to put a contest entry in. I forgot, and you forgot to remind me. And between them, it's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing. Yeah. There's nothing we can do about it. And what we do is move on. We're still 19-11 on the season, man. There's nothing we can do.
We're not It's not a forfeit. We're still in this. We're now 19-11. We're going to be the first team to ever win the Westgate after missing a full week. I look at it as charity, Teddy. I feel like everybody else needed some help. We provided it to them. And it was my fault for not reminding you. Okay.
And it was my fault for not putting them in.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We're gonna stop discussing this.
Good idea.
Okay. Your bad beat segment, my brother. I hand the mic to you.
Let's get into it. A little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened over the weekend. Let's start in college football. Look, if you had SMU minus on Friday night, I don't even want to talk about it because that was brutal. Navy gets the final touchdown on the final drive with penalties and miscues and insanity in that ballgame. Brutal beat if you had SMU minus. How about Miami against Virginia Tech? They dominate the game and control throughout. What happens? Oh, the back door sneaks open. Hokie slide in. Maryland minus 10.5, minus 11. They're up 11 against Indiana. Not one, but two tipped pass completions. They come through the back door, lose by only 5. Oklahoma State, TCU, the total's 7. It's 30-16 in the fourth quarter. There's no sniffing the over. You get to overtime at 30-30. The under's still live in that contest. Touchdown, first possession, 4th and long, Okie State. All you need is an out. Which way's the bad beat going to go? The Cowboys lead the entire game. They give up the 2 TD lead in the fourth quarter. It goes to overtime. Or is it going to go to the underbettors? Well, the bad beat went to the underbettors. The 4th down pass was good. 43-40 final, double overtime. Okie State still gets the money. They're not the bad beat side. The under was the bad beat side of this one after that 4th down conversion by the Cowboys. On Sunday, look, if you had the Jags +2 yesterday, that was as ugly as it gets. The Colts never led until the fourth quarter. And the Jags scored, Trevor Lawrence led them down the field to take the winning drive, the winning touchdown. And then he only needs a field goal. Worse, you get a push. 3rd and 13 from the Jags 32. 17 seconds left equals a game-winning touchdown. And the 2-point conversion with 15 seconds left. The Colts win by 7. Tough if you have Jacksonville. How about the 49ers Falcons total? 42.5, 43, bet up to 45. It's 28-14 with 8:40 left in the third. All you need is a field goal the rest of the way. You don't get it. Interceptions, failed 4th down conversions, lots of punts. You know the drill. It's worth noting. San Fran, Atlanta also in bad bets and in bad for the books. One game that made it in all 3 categories this week. When it comes to bad bets, look, they were betting up Cal on Saturday at Colorado. The fired head coach's teams covering the spread every week. The Buffs went outright. Cal still can't score. Leary's out for NC State. They bet the Wolfpack anyway. Syracuse is now 6-0, ranked, and they covered by double digits. Babers' job secure for now. Alabama money came pouring in. Bryce Young is playing up to -9, 9.5. Bryce Young played great, too. The Vols got to 52. All that Alabama money loses. On Sunday, the Bucks, low as 6.5 in the opener. They were as high as -10. They lose outright at Pittsburgh. Brady, he was out partying instead of working, and it showed. Going to Kraft's wedding over the weekend. Now, which book are we talking about? This is a pros versus Joe's game. San Fran, Atlanta. Every Joe had San Fran. The books that catered to Joe did great in that ballgame. It was a parlay killer, was a teaser killer. All the bad bets on San Fran. The Bills-Chiefs over was the single most popular public play of the day, 24-20 finals. That one, obviously no good. Lots of offense, not necessarily the points production to go with that offense. When it comes for bad for the books, Oklahoma -7 to -10 at Kansas. A 3-touchdown lead in the fourth, but they only win by 10. Lands right on the number. All the money came on the Sooners. Not all cash. That was not a good result for the house. Holy TV overs. Auburn, Ole Miss total bet up to 55. 48-34 final. 55 not high enough. Tennessee, Alabama total bet up to 68 with Young playing. 52-49. Not bet up high enough. BYU, Arkansas 52-35. A 10-point total move off the Circa opener. Close as high as 67. Not high enough. LSU, Florida, 48 up to 52. That was over by the first drive of the third quarter. Not high enough. Oklahoma State, TCU, we just talked about it earlier. 68 bet up to 71. That, too, went over the total. And, of course, when it comes to bad for the books on Sunday, look, nobody bet Miami with Skylar Thompson. They wanted Bridgewater. And then Bridgewater came in. They bet Miami at halftime. Still, the Vikings win and cover. That was not a good result for the house. But, we talked about earlier the San Fran game. The line moved from plus 6.5 to plus 3.5. All Falcons money, more Falcons money at halftime. Every sharp bettor was on the Falcons. So the books that cater to sharp bettors got hammered on that ball game. And of course, Cincinnati, a bad result for the house yesterday as well. All the pros and the Joes were on the Bengals at New Orleans. They ended up winning and covering late in that one. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, El Presidente.
Teddy covers. Yeah, I love that segment, man. Awesome stuff. Okay, guys, here's how this is going down. We're taking a quick commercial break. Marco D'Angelo is coming on, and then Bryan Leonard. If you want a daily presidential address, you're going to have to get us to 105 likes. Yes, we have upped it by 5. Teddy, get ready. Marco, get ready. Dan, cue us up. Let's
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
What? Oh my God. Dude, we're live. We're live, and I'm like, did not sleep well last night, Teddy. No reason in particular. Just couldn't find sleep. Couldn't find peace inside of me. And as I age, bro, the jet lag has taken a hold. Anyway, Marco D'Angelo joining us. And Marco, thanks for coming to my poker tournament, man. It was really appreciated. You sat there. You watched me lose. I came 5th, though. I made a bunch of money. It was an awesome, awesome tournament. But I do appreciate you coming down and hanging out with me. Why is the Venetian room so goddamn freezing cold? That is the question of the day. God, I was shivering.
And Bryan Leonard are the only two guys that I know that can be in the desert and always be cold. So I don't know what to tell you, but I just want to say I want to add one more bad beat to Teddy's bad beat segment, because I did not think you guys were going to open the show telling your story, and you took all of my joy of coming on and saying, hey, how'd your weekend go in the Westgate?
Let us know.
Prez is not going to be laughing about this stuff for a long time. That's all I'm going to say. It's Fred. I realized that I screwed up and got over it pretty quickly. Because you have to do that in this world. I mean, this business kind of teaches you. You screw up, you get over it. You screw up, you get over it. I screwed up royally. All right, but I was over it a lot quicker than he is. He's absolutely gutted still. 36 hours later.
Oh, I have 72 texts that can confirm that. He's still not.
Yeah, I know. I do too. You didn't want to be in our conversation yesterday. I'm honestly glad we got through that conversation and we're able to be on air today, because it had meltdown potential for both of us, because there were lots of fingers being pointed.
Yeah, 10 of them. Marco D'Angelo, no comment. Okay. Let's get into it, brother. Chargers are playing Denver tonight. It's plus 4.5 for Denver. 45.5 is the total. How do we bet this game?
Well, guys, the knee-jerk reaction is going to be the public, John Q. public, that is going to want to take the Chargers, and why not? Everybody that watched Thursday Night Football last week saw the field goal fest, 12-9, and unfortunately, they even were on the losing end of that pig of a game that we saw on Thursday. So who's going to want to run to the window and bet them? Yesterday, I took a team, and you could say maybe they were lucky, maybe they weren't. I don't know. I cashed a ticket. That's all that matters to me. Is when the line kept coming down on Indianapolis yesterday, I went with Indianapolis, and my thought process was the fact that they played on Thursday night. You've got a veteran quarterback that is at a new team this year, and he had 3 extra days to prepare. I thought that we would see a good game from Matt Ryan yesterday. Well, we saw his best game of the season, in fact, yesterday, is he went 42 of 58 for 389 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I'm expecting the same thing tonight, not maybe to that degree, but I expect Russell Wilson to have his best game of the season. Few reasons. Now he's got 4 extra days to prepare for this game, so they can take out the stuff that wasn't working, fine-tune the stuff that was, and maybe add an extra wrinkle or 2. Then you've got them facing the Chargers defense. Guys, the Chargers defense is not good. The offense, we know what the Chargers offense can do, but the defense has allowed 24 points or more in every game since week 1. And week 1 was against the Raiders. You expected a shootout, but let's be honest. That was the first game under Josh McDaniels for the Raiders, still growing pains. You know, you can do whatever you want in preseason. That doesn't count till you get into the regular season, and we saw the slow start they had. I think Denver's going to have some success against the 28th ranked defense in football. The Chargers are allowing 6.3 yards per play. Denver, number 5 on the season defensively. They're allowing just 5.0 yards per play. It's been one of my things as long as I've been in this business. If I can get the better defense getting points, I'm going to do it all the time. Add the extra days in there, makes it even better for me. Throw in the fact it's a division game. We've seen what these road division dogs have done this season. I'm on Denver. I'm going to call for the upset, 24-23, take the Broncos.
So you're talking about the Broncos offense like it's fixable. Like, oh, yeah, all I got to do is make a couple little corrections and everything will be fine. Russell Wilson was terrible last year in Seattle when you look at the metrics. The offense didn't work in the preseason. It hasn't worked in any regular season game yet. What makes you think this is the point that all of a sudden Russell Wilson becomes good again and the Broncos offense starts working again, as opposed to any other
week to hammer
where
home,
they had ample opportunities?
Right, to hammer home the point that I'm basing the play on. In if I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong because of this reason, but it worked for me yesterday. I think the extra days to prep in this offense is going to make the difference to see the best performance of the year from the Broncos. You could have said the same thing about Indianapolis this year. They've struggled. Matty Ryan was not good this year, okay? Nope. The Colts have been tough to watch. They had a good game offensively yesterday. I don't expect them to put up 30-some points like Indianapolis did yesterday, but I expect Russell Wilson to be better. I think Russell Wilson, I'm not a prop guy, but I'm going to look at a couple of the props, like the running props and stuff. Yeah. This is a national, Meghan said in the first statement, first segment, this is the 4th time we're seeing them. They've been putrid every single time we've seen them. Russell Wilson's a veteran. It's got some pride. The extra days for that old bones of his, that body, this is going to be the best we're going to see. If they don't do it tonight, they might find themselves on the do not bet list the rest of the season for Marco.
Yeah, and you don't want to be on the Marco's do not bet list. That's for sure. Yeah, he won't be betting Teddy and I to win the Westgate. That's that you can take to the bank.
Oh, now he's bringing it back up again. I thought he was going to leave it alone. Here he goes.
Marco,
just let it drop, dude. Let it drop.
13 and a half yards rushing. Russell Wilson. I love the over. One of the things for me, I've been watching Denver, and I'm like, why isn't he running? So I agree with you, man. I think
he can't run anymore.
Yeah,
they don't want him running.
Dude, I'm 53 and I can run 100 meters in 63 seconds. So I'm pretty quick.
You don't have NFL defensive players chasing after you.
Teddy, 63 seconds is horrific. People in wheelchairs could do that. Marco could do that.
You still don't have NFL players running.
Yes. Anyway, I love the over 13.5 yards rushing or Russell Wilson. We can discuss it tomorrow. Dude, you got to pick for us on the Arizona State Stanford college football game. Where are we going here?
Guys, this one is all about the spot. You know I come on here on Mondays. I like to find situational spots. How about that one last week with Iowa State in the sandwich? Easy cover for Iowa State. I've got another one that's a pretty good sandwich spot here, and we're going to look at Arizona State. And yes, Arizona State's been trash all year. Only 2 wins on the season, 2-4 coming into this game. They fired their coach, Herm Edwards, after they lost to Eastern Michigan at home as a 20.5-point favorite. Well, the interim coach hasn't done much. He's 1-2 since he took over. But let's be realistic. The first 2 games he had was against Utah and USC. Utah was the defending Pac-12 champ, and USC is everybody's darling with Lincoln Riley coming there, and they started the season undefeated until the 2-point conversion Saturday night, ironically by Utah. So they played 2 of the best teams in the conference after he took over. Then the last game, he beat Washington. They were a 13.5-point underdog. They won that game 45-38. The offense woke up. That was the best offensive performance of the season. And now they've had 2 weeks off. Again, I'm going to drill it in there. When you've got a new coach, an interim head coach, that first week, there's not a lot of changes you can make. You're going on the fly. But when you get a bye week, he can take apart the offense, look at what's been working, and fine-tune it, throw out what hasn't been. You're going to see, I feel, the best performance from Arizona State coming out of that bye week. Couple that with, let's look at Stanford, what they're in the middle of. They went to Notre Dame last week. I don't care how good or how bad Notre Dame is with their record. It is a big deal for these 20-year-old kids to go play at South Bend. Not only did they go to South Bend, they won in an upset. Paint dry game, 16-14, but they were a 16.5-point underdog, and they won that game outright. Now they come home to face Arizona State. Are you really going to get pumped up for Arizona State? Yeah, it's a conference game, but Arizona State's not playing well, especially when you look at who they got on deck. They got UCLA, undefeated UCLA on deck next. That, to me, is just too much of a sandwich. Notre Dame on the front side and UCLA on the back side. I'm going to take Arizona State plus the points, 2 weeks to prepare. Call for the mild upset, 28-24, Arizona State.
So how good is Stanford? Because they kind of faced the juggernaut teams that Arizona State faced. They had USC, Washington, Oregon in back-to-back weeks. And they turned the ball over. They lost a turnover battle in all 3 of those contests, ended up losing them all by margin. But within each of them was within 1 score of a point spread cover. In fact, a field goal of a point spread cover. They had the game against Oregon State where they had them on the ropes and let them off at the end. And then last week they finally closed against someone. But it's been a defense that when the offense didn't turn the ball over, they're capable of getting stops. And when when the offense, a veteran quarterback, an offensive line that's reasonable, isn't Stanford ahead of Arizona State in the pecking order in the Pac-12 still, even after the coaching change for the Sun Devils?
On paper, yeah, I agree with you. But again, I'll go back to last week. Wasn't Texas way above Iowa State on the pecking order of the Pac-12? But I was playing the spot, and that's what I'm doing here, Teddy. I'm playing the spot. There's no other way for me to defend my play. It's something that I've done for 40 years in this business, and it's paid off. This is a horrible spot for Stanford. An outright upset win in South Bend, and you got an undefeated team coming to town next week, UCLA. If they beat me, that's kudos to them. I'll consider it give Prez a poker term, like the guy hit the 2-outer on the river. Nothing I can do. I feel I'm getting my money in with the best of it.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Guys, it's $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com. Every play on the board from every handicapper is only $9. Marco, what do you have going?
Oh, shocker. I've got the Monday Night Football game up. Guys, pick it up. $9, please. And I just gave it to you. So I will have another advanced play for the weekend up later today, finishing that up. But, of course, the play that's up right now, you just got courtesy of me.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Teddy, Bryan Leonard's joining us in a second. Before we get to that, we have some time, just a couple of – I want to talk Green Bay and Tampa Bay. I want to ask you, what do we do with these two teams now? Green Bay -5 going into Washington. Tampa Bay a double-digit favorite going into Carolina this coming week. From my perspective – Green Bay, and I've said this to everybody, is not that great a team. I know you played the Jets yesterday and won, but what do we do with these two teams moving forward?
I have no interest in backing Green Bay. And, I mean, Tampa's playing the worst team in the NFL next week. So it's really going to come down to the quarterback play, but who's playing a quarterback for Carolina? But P.J. Walker's not an NFL quarterback. Jacob Eason's not an NFL quarterback. So that's why the Bucs are laying what they are. The Panthers aren't putting on an NFL roster on the offensive side of the football right now, especially when you think about the Robbie Anderson situation and what that's going to hang over there. It's not a great situation for Carolina. So I can understand why Brady and company are favored. Certainly Brady has a track record off a loss that you like. So of the two teams, you say which of the two is more likely to turn around? Obviously, I think Tampa is, because I'm with you on the Packers. The Packers have played mediocre. Las Vegas Chris said this to me last week, and it kind of just, boom, it just hit. I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Sometimes someone says something and it just clicks on you. And he's like, the Packers have played mediocre football against mediocre teams. They're mediocre. And I'm like, you nailed it, dude. You absolutely nailed it. That's right. That's what Green Bay is. That's not a team I'm comfortable laying points with them.
Yeah, and if you go back to the beginning of the season, I did tell everyone Minnesota plus 375 to win that division. I think Detroit and Green Bay are going to play for second. Anyway, Bryan Leonard joining us. Bri, anything to add about what we've been talking about so far?
I will say I really enjoyed the beginning of the show. Normally, I'm bored by your first guest that has to go on and drown to get their plays in. Meghan came in. She was like a prize fighter. She came in, gave her opinions, in and out, bobbing and weaving. Got it all done in a short amount of time. Great information. I hope she sweeps the card.
Yeah, so what Bryan is not saying is take that, Marco. Pretty much, right? I cover that.
I like the Clockwork Orange reference.
Bryan, you know what? We're gonna flip you and Marco next week. You're gonna come on before.
I got more things to do on a Monday than listen to him go on for 15 minutes.
Yeah, so do I, dude. So do I. Okay, Duke plus points at Miami, Florida this coming weekend in college football. How do we bet this game?
I like Duke in this matchup. You go back last 2 years, the Hurricanes have beaten Duke 95-10. They have Virginia revenge on deck. I see them overlooking this Duke team here. Duke actually outplayed North Carolina last week. They didn't get the victory, but from a post-game win percentage, Duke was the better team there. Miami's dropped 3 or 4 games as of late, with the win being against that struggle last week against Virginia Tech. They did outgain them by 200 yards, but you look at the final score, it could have gone either way. The Duke run game has been very solid this year, 5.5 yards per rush. The Blue Devils team takes good care of the football, winning the turnover battle in all but one game this season. So you got a team that can take time off the clock, running the football. They don't turn the ball over. You're getting them at more than a touchdown underdog here. And look at the 3 Duke losses this season. They've come by margins of 3, 3, and 8 points. The 8 points was against Kansas, the team that everybody's been climbing over each other trying to bet on this year. So this is a team in Duke that's really good at sticking in these games. Major revenge from getting embarrassed the last 2 years. You take a look at what these teams have done overall Miami is outgaining the opposition by only 0.13 yards per play. Duke is 0.71 yards per play to the positive. I'm not so sure that Miami is even the better team in this matchup, and we're getting over a touchdown with a team that is vastly motivated in this game against a team that could be overlooking them.
So when we look at who Duke's played this year, with Temple, Northwestern, North Carolina A&T, Kansas, Virginia, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Something really stands out when you look at that group. They haven't played one team with a defense, not one. You look at the last two meetings against Miami, Miami's outgained them by 300-plus yards both times. Duke hasn't gotten, I think they got to 200 yards in one of the two games. They didn't get to 250 in either one. And now they're facing a team that, at least in theory, has a defense. Is that a concern here?
Yeah, I agree. They only allow 3 yards of carry on the ground. That's the strength of this Miami team. I just feel that we got to, in my opinion, a little bit of a coaching mismatch. I don't like to play Miami when they're laying points. They've been a disappointment. They have the better athletes, and they have the history against this Duke team. But this is a different year, and I don't want to back Miami. They haven't shown anything in my regard to want to lay points with all season. And Duke is a team that, like I said, they don't turn the football over. That's something, if you don't turn the football over against Miami, you can beat Miami.
Bryan Leonard, everyone, exclusive handicapper at WagerTalk.com. And great adverb, vastly motivated. Vastly motivated. Original. Anyway, Bri, what do you got for our clients on $9 Monday?
$9 Monday. I've got my hockey plays up, my entire card. Number one in net profit the last 5 years in the NHL. Number two last year.
Yep.
Andrew had a fantastic season. None of us were catching him last year, but we did finish number two, off to a nice 9-3 start. Most of them favorites.
Beautiful.
But off to a great start. In fact, I think just about all of our handicappers are off to a great start in hockey this year. But I've got 3 plays up today, 1 favorite, 2 underdogs. And if any other games fall into my parameters for the money line that I'm looking to play, I'll add some more on that. But you get them all three for only $9 today. And that's up right now over on the website.
Guys, you should all be vastly motivated to get a Bryan Leonard's NHL package, 8-3 start. Bri, Guardians and the Yankees, and I'm guessing both teams are vastly motivated to win this game. How are we betting it?
I'm going to change your name to
I'm done with that now.
Vastly motivated. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I really think this is a great spot here for Cleveland. Both teams are going to probably be very short with their starters. Savali's going for Cleveland, but he's been really good since he came back from the DL, their IL, whatever they're calling it this year. But he's been very good. I'm surprised they've waited this long to put him into the games, but he'll be starting, and there'll be quick hooks from both managers. But Cleveland's bullpen, if you follow most of the teams in Major League Baseball, you've got a pecking order when it comes to the bullpens. Cleveland's got their guys in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. None of them have pitched the last 2 days. They're totally fresh. You look at the Yankees, they've had problems with their bullpen this entire series. In fact, they haven't been very good the second half of the season. So this game comes down to a bullpen game. Cleveland's got a major advantage there. Obviously, the Yankees have been winning by hitting the home run ball, playing in Yankee Stadium. That's a big advantage for them. But I think the price on this game, all the pressure is on the Yankees. The Yankees yesterday showed it. They came out. You could just see the looks on their faces. They look like young kids. They says, oh, we're sweating it out. Now we get to go back home. Cleveland beat them in Yankee Stadium earlier. I think they beat them again tonight, and we're getting it at a really nice price. Love the way this Cleveland team plays. We've seen this so far in the playoffs. All these teams with the big power have struggled. The Dodgers are gone. A lot of these teams are gone that are really big power hitting teams. Baseball is a game that is going through a change right now. We had a few years ago when Toronto started it all, swinging for the fences. Those teams are starting to fall off the wayside. They've even had to change the rules for next year, which I don't understand, for the players, for the defensive changes.
That's insane.
So I like Cleveland here. I think this is a team that remind me a lot of St. Louis back in the old days against Kansas City. A lot of speed, make the runs count. You just see the other teams are just so nervous when Cleveland gets somebody on base. I love this Cleveland team, and I think they pull the upset tonight.
So you made a key point here, Brian, and you talk about tonight's game as a bullpen game. You know, we don't worry that anyone's trying to handicap tonight's game based on the starting pitchers. You know, if anyone gets into trouble in the first inning, they'll be pulled. You know, it's that kind of a contest. These managers are going to use every pitcher at their disposal this evening. And when I was trying to handicap the games coming up with the play, I ended up putting out a free play on the total in this game. I like the under for tonight. It's been a low-scoring series, and if your manager's every rally you're going to bring in a fresh reliever, I think that helps every potential rally. That helps under bettors. But from a side standpoint here, you really think the Tribe have the better of these two bullpens? I know that the Yankees had used a couple of key relievers last night and the night before, but when all said and done, there's no compare. You think like clear bullpen advantage for Cleveland? You're looking at me like I got 26 heads right now.
No. Cleveland right now has, at least in my regard, one of the top 2 or 3 bullpens in all of baseball. And you take a look at their guys that they use in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, they're all excellent. Cleveland trailed the last 2 days, so it's a situation where all the lesser relievers, and there's not many on this Cleveland team, they all got to pitch the last few games. Yeah. The last 3 guys are all rested, and even the guys that we use usually Cleveland uses in the 5th and 6th innings are very good. So this is a team. Cleveland could go against any team, other than maybe the Houston Astros are very good bullpen. Also the Dodgers, obviously. But this is a team from a bullpen standpoint. They're right there with everybody else, and I love this bullpen on this team.
It's going to be an exciting game, that is for sure. Brian, thanks for joining us, man. You've promoted, you've bitched out Marco, used an incredible adverb, given us some good picks. Your hair looks exceptional. Have I forgot anything?
And I didn't cut off anybody in the middle of a thought. Just throwing that out there for you.
Yeah, me either. Okay, get out of here, brother. Guys, we got our likes. Daniel's son, cue up the daily presidential address. I'm back from my trip to Vegas, and what a trip it was. Played a 3-day event at the Venetian in poker, ended up coming 5th. It was a magical experience. What a ride. I've just been on such a heater in poker for the last little while. I'm going to give out 4 bets that I am making tonight on this presidential address. But before I do that, I want to remind everybody it is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk. Any handicapper, any play you want, only $9. Here's what I have going. I'm on a 16-6. 16-6. I don't know what that was. Run in the NFL. I have an NFL bet tonight. I'm on a 4-1 baseball run, and I've had an outstanding baseball playoffs. I've got a baseball play tonight, and I have started the NHL season 5-1, and I have an NHL play up tonight. So check that all out at my page at wagertalk.com, $9 Monday. Okay, what are we doing? Well, I like the Montreal Canadiens tonight, guys. They are plus 220 against Pittsburgh. I could write a thesis on why, but the bottom line is it's a great spot to bet on Montreal and an even better spot to bet against Pittsburgh. So that's Montreal plus 220. I also like Dallas and Winnipeg to go under the total of 6 goals. Dallas and Winnipeg under the total of 6. And I like Florida and Boston to go over the total of 6.5 goals. As well, in tonight's NFL game, as I said at the top of the show, I like Russell Wilson over 13.5 yards rushing. Frankly, he could do that in one rush. So those are my bets. Montreal Plus 220, Dallas and Winnipeg under the total. Florida and Boston over the total, and Russell Wilson over in rushing yards. That's it for the show. It's 12:45. We'll see you tomorrow. Teddy, brother, take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of Wager Talk Today. I want to thank Meghan Payton, Marco D'Angelo, and Bryan Leonard for joining us. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us here on Wager Talk TV. Top of the hour, NFL opening line report, myself and Drew Martin. So stay tuned to the channel. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And Wager Talk Today, we'll be back again tomorrow. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.